Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Dana Piccoli.
I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Mae Chains would be good now, Schults. And we're here to talk about Angel Season 3, Episode 15, Loyalty.
Yay. Before we get into the episode, I want to give everyone my little Patreon spiel. Over at our Patreon, we are going through Batman the Animated Series and X-Men the Animated Series. Also, any kind of movie that I watch or show that I watch, I'm like, oh, that'll go on Patreon. Currently trying to throw together a Beetlejuice one, which hopefully will be out by the time this comes out. And any and all support is much appreciated. We have no sponsors, no budget. The budget is what I make for Patreon. I'm a teacher, so, any and all support is just anything you can do is much appreciated. We do Patreon Zooms. I have a sex and relationships talk show that I do with Zachary Patton Garcia. We recently interviewed a porn star. We've been doing porn video watch-alongs. So yeah, you might want to check it out.
And that was going a different direction.
God, no. The porn star we interviewed, he was talking about VR porn, which I didn't realize was a thing.
Oh yeah.
And he said how he they pay well, but he hates filming them because you're kind of not really doing anything if you're the
kind of sounds perfect.
It does, right? And we were like, I was like, Zach, we could direct these. And he was like, you two could do them. And we were like, oh God, no, but we could direct them. Loyalty. What did we think? Dana, what did you know about this plot line going in? I'm always curious.
I know about this plot line.
Okay.
But I really like this episode.
Okay.
I think there were enough serious moments with some levity and Tina from the L Word, which was a surprise to me, and I'm thrilled about that.
Wait, who was Tina from the L Word?
Justine.
Oh, I didn't realize she was an L Word. Okay. Is she a character you like on the L Word? That's what I have to ask.
Do I like Tina?
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about Tina, but
okay. Because I don't love Justine, but Mae, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, that does explain why I always get big gay vibes from Justine.
Fair.
I wonder if that actress is gay because
she's not.
She's not.
Actually,
okay.
No. But she's
putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's putting out some real soft butch energy as
Did
Justine.
You see her in Incredibly True Adventures of Two Girls in Love?
No.
She plays little butch Randy Dean teenage lesbian. It's on Netflix. If you're listening to Slayerfest 98, check it out because it was lost in the ether for many years.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It came out in 95 or 96.
Dana, I was about to say, was it one of those late 90s queer movies?
Mm-hmm.
All those seem to have just gone places. I don't know where I don't know how you even get a hold of them. Kind of like Eliza Dushku gives off those vibes, but she is also straight. Yes. Anyway, sorry, mate.
I like this episode. I wish Cordelia was in it. I think that Grusalug is funny. He's entertaining, but I hate that they brought him out of Pylea and they gave Cordelia someone else to focus her affections on instead of Angel. It pisses me off. And then having them gone on this fucking vacation for this episode, I'm sure that was a writing necessity. I don't remember if there's a behind the scenes reason why she couldn't be on it, but it's a bummer because I feel like as a character, she would have been really important in this story.
Yes.
And it feels like a big missed opportunity. That said, there are some unfortunate character moments in this. There's a lot of clunky dialogue that especially Gunn has to deliver, and he does his best with it. Fred does her best with her clunky dialogue. I think you and I have both mentioned that Fred with Gunn or Wesley, it doesn't really work, and it's a little annoying. I do appreciate that Gunn is very sweet on her and she's sweet on him and they're cute together, but either just fucking let it happen or don't do this bullshit strained dynamics thing and the love triangle. It's so annoying. And
I don't know why, but I rarely ever does a plot like that, like a love triangle plot, land for me.
No one likes love triangles. Why do we have them all the time?
No, and, I'm going to get out my poly pedestal I always do on podcasts. If people were more willing to look into polyamory and invest in having open, healthy communication and boundaries, love triangles would not be a fucking problem. It drives me crazy. However, it's still a good episode. Angel has some really great moments in this, and especially his interactions with Wesley. All of their scenes together are wonderful.
Yeah.
Because they have built this beautiful friendship, and the whole episode is about Wesley doubting Angel despite all of his instincts that Angel is a good person. And so I love that aspect of this episode.
So I'm glad you both liked it more than I feel like the show immediately drags without Cordelia, and when we're given Holtz and Justine, Holtz and Justine stop every episode dead for me.
They do pull a lot of the air out of the room, that's for sure.
They really do. They are just so serious. Like, I like Sajan because Sajan is this like kind of grotesque monstery demon who's like annoyed with everybody, wants to go get a drink with Lila. Like, him and Lila are enjoyable to watch.
Right. At least Lila's in this, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, she looks great.
She does. Her hair, actually, my hair kind of looks a little bit like Lila's does.
It does. That's why I thought it looked so great. They are fun to watch. Holtz and Justine are just so serious and so intense. And I like the idea of Holtz. Like, I like a villain who's not quite a villain, who's like, as Angel says towards the end, like, he's a good guy. He has every right to hate me. But still, if you come near my family, I'm going to kill all of you. I like the idea of that. But Holtz himself is just, the actor does great with what he has. It's all, I don't know what they're trying to do with Justine either.
Don't make us try to care about the bad of the season. I don't care.
I'm just unless
it's glory, and then I just
yeah.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. In my opinion, I kind of see Justine as more of the big bad of this season than I do Holtz. I really do. There is something so insidious about her and the way she operates, and how easily she is able to both deceive herself and everyone around her.
You are kind of right, because she's the one that does the thing at the end. Like, she's the one that kind of guides Connor. Even more reason for me not to like her. So this episode, we start. The thing I will always say is I love when these shows do dreams. They always do dream sequences well. I like that it starts off like a regular scene, and then Angel's like happily eating his baby, and Gunn's voice gets all like creepy slow. Like, I appreciate
the blood coming out of the book is actually really well done, because I don't know exactly what kind of device they rigged up, but it really looks like the blood is only coming through the letters of the text on the pages. And even though it's like a split second, and at first the blood looks very giallo, it's very red paint, which is my favorite type of blood. It's so cool. It's so cool to look at. And just, I'm always gonna love practical effects. And it makes me very happy that they rigged up a device for that.
I didn't even think about it. You're right. I didn't think that had to have been some kind of device. They couldn't have just had it there because it like kind of pours. Yeah.
Yeah. What I imagine it's like a pump and like multiple upward facing nozzles or something under each of the two sides of the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just said pump and nozzle in the same sentence, and neither of you made a joke.
Upward facing nozzle.
Oh Lord. I like that. I like that because like these episodes I don't remember as much. Like, I was like, oh, okay, are they gonna just cut away and we're never gonna see what he's doing to the baby? But they are gonna. Okay, he's covered in blood. He just ate the baby. The like horror gal in me appreciates them. I mean, it's not like super gory, but they at least like, it wasn't like you just had to assume something bad was happened. It was like, this is a dream. Look, and now he's covered in blood because he ate it. Yeah.
It's like it's prophetic, it's doomy, it's very serious, and it's scary, it's creepy, especially with the angel eating the baby so gleefully.
Yes, I think that's like the perfect, like, that's a perfect choice to do for this, that he's like smiley and like excited, and he's like, look what I can do, and he's just happily chowing down on a like baby head.
One of my other potential nicknames was, I'm teaching him how to die.
That's a great fucking line, and he does it really well.
Yeah, and I like that he doesn't say teaching, he says teachin'. So it's that more colloquial way of speaking that Angel normally has, as opposed to Angelus, who I feel like would have that G on there.
Yeah. Wesley wakes up. It's just Angel that's there. He's got the baby. Kind of like,
and he's so sweetly concerned about Wesley too. He's like, were you up all night? You know, you've been really going at it with the books. He just...
Okay, you know what? You are making the case. I was like, I should wait to bring this up. I need to know what we all think about Wesley not telling anyone. Like, even in the dream, when it's like Gunn and Fred in the dream, and he like tries to cover it from them, I'm like, I get that he's estranged. Like right now, it's weirdsies with Gunn and Fred, but like this feels more important than like love triangle dynamics. This feels like this is one of our best friends. Sometimes his prophecies come true, sometimes they don't. Is he going to eat this baby? What do we think? Like if Cordelia were there, it does feel like Cordelia would have... Well, it would have been hard for them to do this with Cordelia there.
He's wearing his face on his face. Like, I mean, it's so obvious that he's desperately upset about something, and everyone keeps kind of asking him, but I think he's so devastated by what this is that he can't even let himself say it out loud, except to the hamburger, which we'll get to later.
What a sentence.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. He is grieving the idea of one of his best friends, his trusted colleague, potentially turning back to his old ways and being a murderer, being a demon. And he doesn't know how to contend with that. So he's in the denial phase. He is doing everything he can. Well, I guess denial and bargaining. He's doing everything he can to make sure that this is not true, to disprove it or to prevent it from happening. And this is something that people do. They have a secret and they burden themselves with it, and they refuse to tell anyone else because they're afraid if they do, it makes it real.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a combination of that, not really knowing how to even begin to say this to someone else, and just not wanting it to be true again.
Especially seeing how much Angel loves Connor.
They really lay it on. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to it, but the doctor's office visit is like, it's so silly, but it's so cute. And I love that Wesley goes with him.
Yes, but Connor's got a perfect bill of health. And of course, they take some blood from Connor, and somebody's going to snatch that blood tube.
I don't fully... Mae, do you remember the full... Because I was like, oh yeah, that's one of Holtz's people. Oh no, she's working for Lila, the like mom that takes the blood. I didn't remember quite all of that. I didn't remember like Lila being involved that like already from this point. Like I thought it was like Rajan got her involved.
No. And do you remember why? Do you remember like what they're actually doing here with the blood?
I don't know.
Okay. Dana, do you want me to save this spoiler from you?
Go for it.
Okay. So they have been replacing or adding Connor's blood to Angel's supply of pig blood.
Right.
So he has been slowly drinking Connor's blood.
Right.
And if you pay attention to the language in this episode, that the hamburger says the father will consume his child. It's very specific.
Mae, you're so good at this.
Because in my brain, I remembered it being that Holtz and Sajan kind of like build this prophecy and it's all fake.
I'm not going to say anything about that because we don't actually get resolution to that until
5, right?
Much later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Holtz is rogue from Sajan and Sajan's plan, which is why Sajan turns to Lila, who has already enacted this plan.
Right, they're
to
on
essentially
the same
make
wavelength now.
Right. She wants to make Angel do something that is absolutely horrifying that hopefully in her eyes he won't be able to live with himself if he does. And that puts him in a vulnerable position, which is why all of this is happening.
All right. That makes more sense. So this hospital scene is cute. I do like that West goes with him. And I mean, you both point this out. They really do, like, Angel is kind of like, are you okay? Like, he looks rough.
Yeah.
Like, but like, I guess to them, it's more like, well, he's been researching the prophecy. That's exhausting.
Sure. And also, like, everyone's doing normal things, and that tends to annoy Wesley when he's, I mean, like, Angel has all these, like, baby hockey sticks.
That's not regulation size.
Because he knows that he could go to the games because they'd be at night and they're indoors.
I did think that was really cute. I go back and forth whether I think it feels out of character but I'm someone who doesn't want kids. If I was like, happen to have a baby, so
all babies.
Oh, there's a baby.
Oh no!
Like,
so many babies.
I might also
my
be
fucking
like,
nightmare.
I know, seriously, but I might also be this like sudden like crazy helicopter. Like, I'm a helicopter parent with my nephew. I'm a helicopter parent when there's a dog around. I'm like, what's the dog doing? Are we sure it's okay? Like,
did I say "Oops, all babies" on the last episode too? I think I did.
Oh, no.
I feel like I did.
What were you saying, Dana?
I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, actually, I think it suits Angel's personality perfectly.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it makes total sense. He's somebody I think that gets really obsessive about things when he cares about them.
You're right, because at the end when he's like, I thought love was supposed to be, and he basically outlines his relationships with Darla and Buffy when he's like, supposed to tear you apart and be dramatic, but I've learned that love doesn't have to be, like that. Which is so annoying. That's kind of what him and Cordelia are also the not like that kind of love, but
right.
Oh, poor shipper.
So yeah, everything's good at the doctor's office. I do like that when the lady calls him Mr. Dad, that he's like, did you hear that? She called me Mr. Dad. Like, he's like very excited.
And that is so in line with his character. I've talked before on here. Angel's a giant dork. When he's not Angelus, he's a big old fucking dork. And yeah, he can be dark and brooding, but when he's happy, he is a dork. And I honestly love it because it's so charming, because he seems so genuine. And I know David Boreanaz as an actor in real life has had some weird opinions about things, but this feels like the most genuine stuff out of him. It feels like he in real life is probably a big dork, and so he likes playing Angel this way, where he gets to be sweet and excited and curious about things.
I agree. No, I agree. Because I am charmed by it. I am very charmed by Dad Angel. I even really like him and Lorne. Like, Lorne kind of like, we talked about this, I think before, May, where like him and Lorne's dynamic with Connor, where like Lorne is kind of like, I don't even know what role you would like, what stereotypical role you'd put, because Lorne is like, all right, he's almost like the like cool grandma who's like, all right, the adults are going out, grandma's gonna come over and babysit. Like, yeah,
absolutely. That is absolutely who Lorne is. He's like cool grandma or gay aunt.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we see the blood exchange. When Angel is playing with hockey sticks, Does he say he remembered Cordelia's credit card number and that's how he got the stuff?
I'm glad I don't
I missed
remember.
that. But if he says that, that is hilarious.
He says something like, I remember Cordelia's credit card number, and Fred says something about like robbery. Because they're saying like he doesn't have a credit card, and like, he wouldn't. We know he's like,
it would be hard without the Social Security and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess online shopping would be kind of difficult for Angel.
Yeah.
Also, do we have it yet? Did we?
I feel like it was like
2002.
Yeah, it's like in the start, I feel like, right?
I would be afraid to put my credit card on the internet in 2002.
I mean, it's possible he found him in a. It's possible he found him in a catalog and ordered it through a catalog.
Sears and Roebuck.
My mom still ordered from catalogs. Last year, when she was still alive, she would still be like,
"Woman within."
I have a clock here somewhere.
Totally woman within.
Look, my mom ordered this from a catalog last year. She was like, I know you have trouble waking up, so I got you a clock. I was like, okay.
Oh my God. Every time I hear a story about your mom, she just gets more and more endearing.
So Gunn and Angel are messing around. They're playing and they hit the hockey puck through a window. And then suddenly like this woman appears and is like, is this Angel Investigations? I need your help. And she goes on to tell the gang that her son went to like the carnival or like what is it? The
pier.
The pier.
Yeah.
There's like a carnival,
just like in the Lost Boys.
Exactly, like in the Lost Boys. And he disappeared and she's convinced that he's been kidnapped by vampires, the whole thing. But the thing is, she's lying. She's not 100% lying. It's just she's working with Holtz.
Yes. And because Holtz did tell Sajan he didn't want the demons to work for him, he wanted it to be people that would follow his lead. And I guess, that is what he's but even not that I needed to see it because dear God, we already got him meeting Justine. But like, I am curious, like how he, like you said, this is very early internet days. So like, where was he where was he finding people that were talking about vampires and able to like get them to join?
I'm assuming he was following. I'm assuming he was following newspapers and looking for suspicious vampire-like deaths, finding out who the relatives of those people were, and reaching out to them or having Justine interact with them.
Right, missing people, the whole shebang. Yeah.
Like, can I just say, Holtz without a beard, he doesn't work.
He looks weird, right?
He looks so weird without a beard, but still with the long hair. When you see Keith, however the fuck you say his last name, in The Dark Knight, he's one of the cops. And he has like a little bit of scruff, but he has shorter hair, and it works. It's fine. But as Holtz, when he has the longer, kind of wild Jim Morrison hair and no beard, I can't take him seriously because he just looks so silly.
I mean, I didn't recognize him at first. Also, hilariously, Julie Benz could not say his last name too when we were doing our video together. She was like, Keith, and I was like, yeah. She gives them their spiel about the son and, he wanted to be let in, but she didn't because he scared her. And then, the sun came up and he died. She just kind of just wants them to like find out.
Well, she's trying to send them to the pier, essentially, because then she goes back and she goes back to Holtz's hideout and there's all these like humans smacking each other around, practicing fighting and everything. And she's like,
beating up a vampire.
And then Sajong like appears. And did Sajong have like a new mask or some makeup going on?
It looks different. It looks different.
It looks a little more pale, I think.
But I'm wondering if it's because he's better lit in this episode. Every other episode, he was in that sand cave.
Yeah,
and here we see him in their hideout and in Wolfram and Hart. So I'm wondering if it's just because of the lighting.
Yeah,
because I did notice that, Dana.
Well, it becomes clear to Sajan that Holtz has gone rogue. He's not really interested in working with Sajan's timeline, and Sajong's kind of like, well, shit, I gotta figure something else out.
It really is. Because even, Holtz, like, whatever, like, threatens, he's like, well, I can trap you in the
some special
supernatural thing. Yeah, which clearly is true because then Sajan is like you said,
he
he's
looks
like,
a little
shit.
freaked out.
Yeah. Is it this scene where he says, oh yeah, Justine does ask him like, why are they working for Angel? And I do like that Holtz is like, they think they're doing good. Like he's not, that's something, right? Like I don't like his scenes, but I think shit like that is interesting where even he's like, I know that the humans aren't bad. Like, which like, sir, if you just paid attention, you would see that he's not bad too. But like, I do like that he's still not like, mustache twirling villain. He's still kind of like, nah, they're actually good people. Although he does try to kill them. So like, I don't really know.
But they're collateral damage to
True.
him.
Yeah, true.
Well, and he doesn't try to kill them. He has them sent to possible death, and he knows ahead of time, like, these people are obviously working for Angel. They are likely skilled fighters. So it's kind of an unknown. It's an experiment. It's like when Hannibal sends Will to his potential doom. You know, he just wants to see what's going to happen.
And we even see that later in this episode. They're watching video of what happens at the pier, which we'll get to in a second, and they're commenting on the types of the styles of their fighting and who,
which is very Spike studying Buffy in season 2.
Yeah. And I was thinking, oh, they're at a pier again. That's like, I was thinking of Spike because that's where Angel fought Spike in season 1. Probably the same pier.
For the Gem of Amara?
Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't fight Spike there. He has to fight the torturer guy who's a pedophile.
Right. That they add in that weird. Yeah. Anyway, so then we go to Wolfram and Hart. And we start, this is like one of the first times we get like a Lila backstory, right? I love Lila so much because I just love that we never have to explain like, oh, well, actually she's possessed by a demon. That's why she does it. No, she is just out for herself, but also like, it's so humanizing having her call her mom who like clearly has dementia and like, in the same episode where she's like, yeah, we're stealing his blood and want him to kill his baby. Like, I like the, inside you, there are 2 wolves and Lila's embracing both of them. She's like, yeah, here they are.
Oh my God.
It's just a wolf fest up in there.
Yeah, Lila is such a good example of that kind of dialectic thinking of, there are 2 wolves inside you and they are doing totally different things. And because she is Lila fucking Morgan, she's in charge of both of those wolves.
She's fine with them. Yeah. She's like, yep, they're both there. It's fine. Whatever.
And I love that she's always a step ahead. Like when Sanjiang shows up, she's like, I fucking knew you'd be here.
I love it. He's like, what do you mean you have it already? It's so good.
He's like, of course I'd have the baby's blood. What are you, nuts?
Why wouldn't I?
She's Lila.
Yeah. And when he's even like annoyed that she's not scared of him and he's like, aren't you surprised? And she's like, you don't have an appointment. Like, she's like, I don't give a shit.
But she does give a shit about Wolfram and Hart in general, knowing what she's doing because she knows that her office is bugged.
Because she's smart, right? Like, she's not stupid.
Smart.
Yeah.
So she writes like, hey, all right, let's talk.
I love.
To Sanjiang.
Well, and Wolfram and Hart is invested in Angel in a different way than Lila is.
Yeah. Lila kind of like personally fucking hates him now. It wasn't always that way, but now it's like she doesn't hate him because her job hates him. She hates him for fully separate reasons because he's like always blowing up her spot. So like she hates him for she hates him also because of her job, but like for more than just that. Which again, I just love her. We go to the pier. Fred and Gunn are there. They're doing their recon. This is all.
Well, they're making like googly eyes at each other, and then Fred's like, "Wait, maybe we should just be kind of business here, like we're hunting demons and such." And Gunn's like, "Yeah, but like let's mix business with pleasure. Come on."
Yeah, he says, "I want it all.
Let's get an elephant ear. Let's get some cotton candy."
I gotta say. I also don't like their scenes, but also Fred is correct, right? Like They're literally there for work, not a fucking date. And Gun's acting like they are like 16-year-olds. And it's like,
do you
you're
think
adults.
that Gunn would have walked into that trap if his mind wasn't elsewhere?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're right. I don't think he would have now. And like, when Wesley he is kind of shitty with Fred, but then it's like retroactively he ends up being correct for why, like when he's like, we're here to work, not to date. Like, I don't know, that sounds like something a retail boss would have to say, but like here, then they do fall into a trap because of it. Also, how long are they at that pier? It is bright daylight and then suddenly pitch black.
They just walking around all day long. As I said, they ate some corn dogs.
Rode the Ferris wheel.
So let's just close out this portion of it, even though it intersperses with other stuff.
Yeah.
It just is so weird that suddenly it's nighttime. Gunn kind of says he doesn't care what Wesley thinks because he loves, doesn't use that, but because he really likes Fred. He goes into this he goes into wherever they see someone breaking into. It's like a room with a carousel. And it's a trap, and Justine and some other dude are filming them.
Yeah, filming. And there's maybe 6 vampires descend upon them, and Gunn's like, get out of here, Fred. And so we think she leaves at first, but Gunn's kind of, outnumbered, and Fred shows up, and Fred's not useless, man. Fred's got some skills. So
Fred has never once been useless, and that's another thing I love about her.
Right.
Everyone is always underestimating her.
And the skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing I also like about that is that she's allowed to be like that without it being like she's superhuman, or she is also, to go back to Lila, but it's fully different, but she is just a regular human, but still is I'm going to help you. we need to take this vampire, even in Billy, when she has to think of a creative way to take out Wes and Gunn, she's smart. And I like that. And I do like that because I was like, oh, he told her to run. Realistically, he needs the help. So they should both be fighting. So I was glad when she came back.
Yeah, he's not thinking straight because he's like, oh, I care about her too much. I don't want her to get hurt, even though this is her fucking job too. Yeah. She knows what she's doing. She signed up for this.
Yeah.
She chose to come along knowing that there might be vampires. Don't tell her to run. Don't push her out of the way in some bullshit machismo nobility thing. Let the girl stay and help you dust some vamps.
Yes, right. Agreed. Yeah,
they dust the vamps, and then we get to my favorite part of this episode.
Wait, what is it?
Oh my god! So Wesley's looking at his phone, and he's or whatever and he's following GPS coordinates, and he ends up in front of this fast food restaurant with this the Hamburglar looking thing.
No, not the hamburger.
Mayor McCheese.
Yes, much more like Mayor McCheese.
Mayor McCheese. I apologize.
I forgot about Mayor McCheese.
sorry to all you Hamburglar fans out there. We know he's not an actual hamburger. He steals and eats hamburgers.
He steals them.
Sorry. So it's this. He's supposed to call upon this statue, and the statue is this.
It's a hamburger looking thing. Yeah, and it's a drive-through speaker. It's amazing.
Loa, and he does this spell or whatever, and this thing comes to life, and it is the best CGI I have ever seen on Angel.
Right? It is incredible.
It looks uncanny, but in a way that feels otherworldly and mystical. So it's totally fine. It's not cheesy in a way where you're like, oh, that looks bad. It's cheesy in a way where you're like, yeah, this makes sense for the Buffyverse that this thing would look like this, and I am fully on board with it.
Yeah. I can remember because Angel I would always dip in and out of when it was airing. I don't think till season 4 of Angel did I start taping it the way I tape Buffy. I remember having missed a few episodes and turning on the show and being like, what the fuck? I remember catching this scene of this episode out of context and having no idea what was going on.
It's so good. It's so
asking my mom and her trying to explain to me the context and being like, I have no
She's like, listen, and it's the Loa, okay?
And
it's delivering the prophecy that Angel will devour his son, and that the prophecy cannot be stopped.
But no, I'm so glad you both liked it, because I was thinking that too. I was like, this looks stupid, but in the best way. Like, it's like, it is goofy, but like, so works. I don't know. Yeah.
No, and the fact that its eyes are glowing red and it's got the like angry eyebrows, but it's still standing in the like, how may I help you today pose.
There's a little speaker right next to it.
Yeah, and it's got the deep voice. It's just, this is that sense of humor that this show has that is just pitch perfect. It works every time. So what is this? My second time through the show, and I still crack up at this scene every fucking time. And especially that Wesley acknowledges the absurdity of talking to a cranky hamburger while he's talking to a cranky hamburger. And it's that type of meta humor that this show is so good at doing.
I think this encapsulates the meta humor that the Buffyverse fully nailed, that a lot of other shows have not been able to capture, that they try to, but like don't fully land.
Yeah, totally agree.
And I think it works because, like you said, even Wesley, who is pretty, at this point, he's more of a serious character, is like, this is ridiculous. Right. And that makes it work.
And when the Loa delivers the prophecy about the earth shaking and the air burning and this, and Wesley's like, it's California. Earthquake. Whoa.
Way to go there, Mr. Prophecy.
I want you both to know, while I was watching this, because I did 2 different images for this episode. I was like, can I construct a talking cheeseburger to be standing behind Wesley? Like, how could I cannot do that. There's no way for me to do
that. Buy a regular McDonald's cheeseburger and put it on top of like a body.
I mean, it is gigantic, so you could just have Wesley like looking up at a giant Big Mac.
True. But yeah, no, I love this. I love this scene too, Dana. So good. Yeah. So then we go to Lila. She's getting a drink. I feel like we've seen this specific bar before.
Indeed, we have.
Yeah.
This is where Angel shows up and she can't see his reflection in the mirror. And I don't remember if he threatens her, she threatens him.
He like meets her there. He does like see her.
Yeah. I feel like that's from season 1 or 2. It was a while ago, but it's the same bar. And I love that consistency. And also, I don't know if this is intentional, but it 100% reminds me of the bar where Julia picks up one of her victims in Hellraiser.
Oh, huh. All right.
I mean, it's probably the Marriott.
It's the same one. They all use the same one. Also,
what I love about it is like this. It's a mere 5 seconds after she sits down that some dude comes up to her, and she's like, "Not even on your best day."
Yes. Yeah. I was like, yes, Lila.
And I love that you can see him go around a couple of people and sit down at the other end of the bar, and he just looks so defeated. And I'm like, yes.
So Sajan's there, and like Sajan is more fun to watch. Like, I like that he says he's sorry he's late, and he's like, it's a little ironic for me because I'm a time shifter or whatever it is that he's called. Like, I like that shit. It's stupid.
He's like, enough. Like, get to the point. He's like, but I'm lonely. I want some small talk.
He wanted it to be like a drink date, and she's like, this is business. Get to the point. Like,
I just ordered a $130 scotch. Like, give me a break.
God, probably.
It was like a 30-year-old scotch. It was absolutely $130.
Oh, God.
Lila definitely tips well, though. We know she tips well because she knows the value of hard work.
She does. You're right. And she would know that, like, they would refill her drink. They'd come to her more. Like, she probably would. Yeah. She'd be that customer that's like stern and isn't that friendly, but does like,
right.
Yeah. We don't learn what his motives are. No. She kind of is like, well, I just hate him, about Angel. Is that kind of it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty much. She says basically like she's got a plan already to
Mhm.
deal
Right.
with Angel.
Right. Yes. That's
Yeah,
what
and
it
she
is.
outsourced the labor. She made everything untraceable because she's Lila.
Right.
'Cause she's smart.
And then we have what's her name show up back at Angel
Aubrey, the lady,
Investigations, right?
fake lady, yeah. And
Yeah.
and weirdly, okay, we didn't talk about this yet. The fact that Fred was like, you should maybe like ask her
That
out.
was weird, right? This like grieving
isn't she,
mother.
like, exactly. Yes, you should definitely ask that grieving mother client out.
That seems like in poor taste. Like,
But the fact is, when Aubrey does come back in, it does seem like Wesley is like attempting to connect with her, but Wesley knows that she's grifting him.
which I love. I love when this show does that well too. I think Angel does that really well, where it's like the characters, it'll switch it around for you, where like a scene is happening and you think the villain has the upper hand, but actually the heroes fully know what's going on, and I like that.
Yeah, they're really good at subverting expectations and that kind of covert. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. They're sneaky about it, and it pretty much always works.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then Angel like pops up and is like,
Yeah,
you liar.
But then we learned that she wasn't fully lying. We learned that her son did die, but then like Holtz recruited her.
Yes.
Yeah, and Angel genuinely expresses his condolences because once again, he's a good person. And he's like, but also if you come near any of my people again, I'll fucking kill Holtz.
And like, fair, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can be on the side of good all you want. If someone tries to hurt your people who are not bad people, you are going to defend them and you have every right to do so.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Especially like I feel like this is them finding out how big his operation, Holtz's like operation is, because before it was just he had these like demon lackeys and they were like no name whatever, but now we're learning that he has a lot of human followers.
Yeah, and speaking of following, Wesley follows Aubrey back to Holtz's hideout.
Yes.
I love the part where the one guy tries to threaten him and Wesley just like punches him in the throat. And he goes, and he goes, oh, you could just lie there and gag for a while. Oh, that was not Wesley's accent. I don't know what the fuck that was.
That was some sensual ASMR. Jesus.
Welcome to Slayerfest 98.
Yeah. You did start it with that.
Episodes.
Why don't you lie there and gag for a while?
Oof, I'm getting the vapors.
As someone who hates ASMR, I would be really good at doing it.
We also forgot to mention there's a minor earthquake, and the cheeseburger told him what earthquake, blood, and
earthquake, fire, blood.
From the sky.
Earthquake, fire, blood. Yes. There's a minor earthquake that happens before he gets there. Wes, I don't fully get what we're doing here. I also kind of clapped out during the scene. I'm not gonna lie.
I believe Wes is trying to convince Holtz to give up his cause and be like, dude, what the fuck? You're fighting the wrong person. You think you're fighting Angelus, but you're fighting Angel. He has a soul. It is not worth this time, this effort, and potential bloodshed to go after him because he's not the person who killed your family.
Yeah.
And Holtz is like, except though, I'm going to do it. I'm still going to do it.
It's pretty brutal when he goes down the list too, when he's like...
It's his Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive moment.
Exactly.
Wesley's like,
you're right.
He didn't kill your family. And Holtz is like, I don't care.
I'm still going to kill him.
That was a really good reference, man. He kind of Holtz lists all the things. Is it just Wesley's like? Is there a conclusion? I don't really know.
Wesley just goes. He just leaves.
Okay,
they don't try to stop him or anything.
So then we go to Gunn and Fred.
Yeah. And they're at Denny's and they're having pancakes.
Dana, have I asked you yet what do you feel about them?
feel fine about them. I think that I wish, like, I think, Mae, you said this earlier, the dialogue between them is clunky, and if it was a little just more relaxed, I think it would make a lot more sense. I mean, just because Fred is this quirky character doesn't mean that it has to, like,
yes,
you know? I wish their dialogue was a little better. I could see them together. I get them. I think they get each other, but they have to basically decide, how are we going to maintain this and our jobs? Because we can't have that happen again. That happened at the pier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I do appreciate at least they're like being fair about Wesley. Like Gunn says, like, I'm not mad at him. He's a good person. He'll make the right decision. Like, I appreciate that we don't, I mean, we eventually do, but we don't vilify Wesley here. It's like, they're kind of like, give him a break. He's, you know, whatever. And he's a good person. And it's a pretty good cut as Gunn saying he's a good person. We see him walking to Angel's room.
I do like, there's a line that Gunn says something like, for his whole life, he's been fighting demons and vamps, but this is his first Fred.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, basically like, I would choose you if I had to.
Yeah. And that's cute. That's a line that could be bad, but because it's being delivered by J. August Richards, who is a good actor, it comes across very genuine.
Yeah. Agreed. Wesley sits with Angel. Angel's got the baby.
He's warming a bottle.
I really do feel bad for Wesley, because it's like Wesley lets himself breathe here, where he's like, oh, good. We're good. It's not going to happen. It's not. Mm-hmm. And then.
He doesn't just let himself breathe. He has this kind of moment of catharsis where Angel is talking about how much he loves Connor and that he doesn't know what he would do if anything happened to him. And it finally clicks in Wesley's brain. All the prophecies in the world don't make a fucking difference. He knows who Angel is. He knows what this relationship is between the two of them. He knows how much Angel loves Connor. There's no way that he is going to kill his own child. Right. And
he'd kill the world first.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And as I spoiled earlier, it's because there's some very specific language and the way the prophecy has been translated and all of these little things that are necessary for the pieces to fall into place. But it's just, he has that moment where he's like, I am worrying about something that is never going to happen. And then we get an earthquake and
then we get an earthquake.
Fire explosion.
Exploding oven. Hey, y'all, I'm sorry. I have never been in an earthquake, but I know things about earthquake safety, and I know if I'm cooking something on the stove and an earthquake starts, the first thing I'm doing is turning that shit off.
I didn't even think the stove was on. I thought it was just like...
I would have just got an electric stove.
Oh, I'm a gas range girly, and
I
love
too,
to
but
cook.
I remember my first apartment in Astoria. My roommate being like, "Okay, the pilot light's out. I have to relight it," and me saying, I don't know what to do if you catch on fire, so let me do it, because I have faith in you knowing what to do if I catch on fire. And I just like am laying on the ground like, am I going to catch on fire? Like no clue what I'm doing. But literally that was my thought process, was like, he will be able to put out the fire. I will not. So
I don't think you've ever told that story on any of the podcasts before. And that is officially my favorite Ian story. I love that so much.
It's very my logic with something, I think of horror movie logic.
Yeah.
And that is why you're the final girl, Ian.
That's why I'm the Gale Weathers to both y'all, Sydney Prescott. I do think this looks cool. This like Angel likes to flex its budget sometimes, Mm-hmm. I was like, wait, don't they need to put out this fire or the whole building will catch on fire? Right. But whatever.
Between this and the hamburger, man, they blew it on this episode.
Yeah.
All their budget was here.
Yeah, that's why Cordelia couldn't be on the episode.
Yeah,
they
they
were
couldn't
like,
afford her.
They couldn't afford her.
we're going to take the very, very minuscule amount of money that we pay you that you deserve way more than, and we're going to put that into our special effects budget for the episode.
We got a giant hamburger, that's what is real important.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the room. We're like, Cordelia or giant hamburger and earthquake. I think we're going with giant hamburger and earthquake. We know what the people want.
Hey, you gotta sacrifice sometimes.
Yeah, and it looks cool. I love the cut to Lila, just like pleased as shit with herself, sitting at her desk. Yeah. Everything's moving, but she's just like, "Oh, good, it's happening." Like,
yeah, she's just like, "Tee."
Yeah,
like, they finally get out of the. I mean, Angel like does this jump over the fire with Connor, and he's got this huge gash on his forehead, and he's looking down at Connor, and all this blood is dripping down like rain onto this sky blue blanket that Connor's in.
Okay, also, what the fuck is that last line?
Okay, that's my biggest issue with this episode. Angel's goofy, he's a dork, whatever. He would not make that joke. That is specifically to sow more doubt in Wesley's mind after he's just had this revelation that, like, oh, Angel would never do that. And that's bullshit. We didn't need that. We could have had Angel.
Everything, yeah.
Right, like it pisses me off, and I hate that that's the note this episode ends on, because it leaves such a sour taste in my mouth.
I was like, is he joking about eating the baby or Wesley? Like, what's the joke there?
What is
like,
the joke? I feel like Angel would never make that joke about Connor.
No. And we spent all episode where he's like 2 previous episodes where he wouldn't even let anyone touch his baby. There's no way he's making a joke about eating it. Like,
right.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. All right, well, so there's only a little bit of trivia for this episode, and just 2 things. One, it is the first episode of, unfortunately, many without Charisma Carpenter. And Reddit tells me there are a few, because it's been driving me nuts why she leaves, because we know the actress is pregnant next season, right? We know that's...
Right.
Because in my brain, I always thought, well, she leaves because she's pregnant, but like, no, because we
not
see her.
Yet? Okay.
Yeah. So I was curious about that. So I was Googling it before this, but the rumors are that she had like a belated honeymoon and that's what she took off for. There's also a couple other rumors that I don't feel comfortable sharing of like what possibly happened, but it was like she took time off from the show.
Well, only Charisma will know. And
yeah. I'm like, I don't know. A belated honeymoon isn't that wild. If like she got married and then they were filming and it was like, okay, we can do it later. My brother and sister-in-law did their honeymoon, I think, a year after their wedding.
Yeah, but how long was the honeymoon?
That's true. But these would, I think, yeah, you're right. Anyway, all right.
Is she gone for? Like 3?
Yeah.
3. Okay.
I mean, that's like a good month plus of filming, isn't it? 3 episodes?
Is it? I guess I'm like,
I don't know.
I'm so bad. I'm like, I don't know, 3 episodes is that what? A week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I feel like television production times are like fast. So
unless it's like Stranger Things.
Well, yeah.
Right. All right. Well, now that we're at the end, favorite outfit, Dana?
I actually really like this outfit that Fred wears when she goes to talk to Wesley about dating Aubrey or whatever her name is. It's really cute. It's like kind of sporty.
Like red, right? Yeah.
It's red and it's got like little like stripes on it. It's just very like casual early aughts, and I liked it. And she's got like a sort of side pony.
Her hair looks good like that. Mae?
I'm going to keep bringing my least favorite and favorite outfits to episodes that I'm on because I really like making fun of people's clothes when they're bad. Angel's purple shirt in that last scene. I know he wears a lot of button-ups, but my dad literally has that shirt. Purple is my dad's favorite color. Most of his button-ups are like from Express. I know what those look like because I used to wear them when I was a boy.
They had a little stretch in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what Angel's wearing, and I fucking hate it. My favorite is Justine's leather jacket. during the earthquake scene when Holt saves her from the falling bookshelf that doesn't seem to have anything in it. I love that leather jacket. She looks so cute in it. And once again, giving off that like soft butch energy. And I like a soft butch. I like a high femme, but a soft butch who is also a good fighter. Yes. Give me that energy.
That's why we love Faith.
Yes.
Mine is Lila in that maroon blazer when Sajan first goes to visit her. Looks fantastic. That color looks great on her. Her hair always looks fantastic. Lila's always styled really well. Favorite scene, May?
I mean, I think we're all going to have the same favorite scene of Wesley talking to the cranky hamburger. It's perfect. It is a perfect scene. It's a perfect encapsulation of what the shows in the Buffyverse do best, which is to juxtapose humor and horror and comedy and tragedy all in one little ball that you just want to hold.
Yeah. Or perhaps a slider.
Oh, yes. A small slider of balanced emotions and moods.
A White Castle, if you will.
What grade do we give this episode, Dana?
I like this episode. I'm going to give it a B.
Okay. May?
Same. Solid B.
God, I'm rating these episodes so rough. I give it a C. I give it a C plus. I think you all bump me up to a plus.
Honestly, if it wasn't
changing
for
my
that
notes as if I'm like handing this in. Anyway, sorry.
If it wasn't for that final line, it would be a B plus for me. But that knocks the whole plus off of it because it's just so unnecessary.
That's fair. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining me. This was great having the two of you. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all podcasting platforms. If you want to watch our video recordings, because since all of our episodes are now video recordings, you can find us on YouTube, where you should subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, give us a good rating wherever you listen to us. You can support us on Patreon. If you want to find us on social media, we are at SlayerFestX98 on all platforms. If you want to find me, I'm at ENXCarlos. Dana, where can everyone find you?
Pretty much everywhere at Dana Piccoli 2Cs1L.
And May, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at EversonPoe. That's EversonPoe. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services as Everson Poe, 2 separate words. You can find me co-hosting and editing The Lady Killers, a Feminine Rage podcast over on Bloody FM. I also edit a couple other podcasts for Bloody FM. And I am a rotating co-host of Tender Subject, a body horror and cannibalism podcast with Kate Terry. And as of today's recording, our almost 3-hour episode on our top moments of body horror in the Alien series is out. It's really fun. We had a good time. We talked to Tina Horn, who is a sex educator, author, graphic novelist. She does a lot of cool stuff, and the three of us had a really good time talking about all that stuff. So,
well, thank you, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.